How about now? You got volume now? No sound on Facebook, they're saying. No sound on Facebook. Can you hear me now? It appears that it's working, but anyhow, um long story short, guys, we've just been working our asses off getting ready to go to mats. We have a lot of products we really want to debut there rather than make videos about them, and kind of make videos over there. We have a new cylinder head. If you guys have been anyone that bought a cylinder head from us, we had a cylinder head for a little while. We sold an intense amount of them really fast and then never had any more in stock. Um, and that is because we started development on a different head. And so we just kind of let that hype go away because we're going to be coming out with here in the next couple of weeks. And we already have our prototypes. We'll be debuting them at the show. Compressed graphite heads. So that is really exciting. So we're going to be kind of a first in the industry really to come out with a compressed graphite head. It's also obviously going to have titanium disulfide bearings and the isotropic rim finished springs and all that. So just a lot going on, man. We're trying to get all of our kits made to take the mats. We're trying to finish that 2WS Elite build to bring the mats. I was with the Peterbilt guy half the day today, crawling up his ass, trying to get everything we need to finish that. So it just kind of is what it is. Getting the stiffener plates and the oil bypass thermostats and getting them boxed up. Will we be at the Louisville Truck Show? Yeah, that's what I'm referring to when I say mats. It's the Mid-American Truck Show. I bought a booth there 9 months ago, got rooms for us there 6 months ago. Yeah, we didn't last minute this. Seems like we're last minute it because all the crap we're doing trying to get ready to go, but kind of is what it is. The people that set up the booths there, we paid them to do it. They have it set up already. So one guy on TikTok asked, "Is 6NZ the best engine?" I guess that depends on what you mean by best. The 6NZ has the reputation for being the best cat engine in its class. I personally don't believe that reputation is deserved. I believe that reputation is spurred entirely by the fact that the years that it landed in, it was the last engine that they made before they came out with the emissions engine. So it was, and it's also the last engine that you could possibly buy from Cat that is pre-E-Log, which makes it even more of a unicorn. What most people don't realize is that the 6NZ, they started it at the end of 99, and there's only about 500 of them in the world that fall under that unicorn status. So 99.9% of 6NZs that guys have out there don't possess that unicorn status, but they get that special treatment just because of that. And people pile on all these attributes to the 6NZ that they don't deserve just because of the 500 unicorns out there. Technically your 570 Cummins should have that same aura around it, and it kind of does, because it is in that same category of time frame. So anyhow, long story short, the number to call in, guys, is 573-422-4225. That's 573-422-4225. Somebody asked me a question about oil. I don't remember what he asked me there. BXS for the win. BXS is one of my favorite engines. As I go further and further along in my career of doing engines, I really feel like the MXS is actually better than the BXS. The BXS was better at one time, but there's, with all the changes in technology, like your special pistons and stuff for Acerts, the MXS is really a lot more problem-free than the BXS. Better Jake housings. I used to like the BXS for the fact that it had the 6NZ Jake housings and all that, but they're more prone to ring breakage. I can pretty much predict if you got blow by on your BXS, it's broken rings. Not so predictable on an MXS. The BXSs are very prone to breaking the rings. Where is the new shop located? It's about, I think it's 23 minutes from our other shop further south. So not too far. Not too far. Much nicer facility, much more suited to what we're doing and where we're going, where our vision's at. And it's the same price we were paying, so that was part of the big motivation there is we can get a much more world class type facility. There's two houses here. There's actually three houses here. There's two ponds. The pond, my daughter, my 12-year-old daughter, just caught a freaking 3.5 pound bass out of the pond in the back, and it's just better. It's just better. It's even more out of sight, out of mind. Got high fence all the way around with barbed wire. You know, it makes you feel a little more secure. So what does that mean? NXS Acer is your least favorite? No, the NXS and the MXS are identical in every way, shape, or form. It's mainly just sensors configuration that you start to see a difference on in the MXS and the NXS. So NXS is a great engine, and then they went to the SDP, as we all. My NXS sucks. Yeah, that's not an inherent NXS issue. My SDP has blow by. I changed the crankcase filter. What else can I check? Well, you can check for the fact you probably have crankcase problems because of internal engine issues. That's usually the cause of blow by. Anyway, every show we do, we get our drunk callers. So I thought tonight I might join them and have a little drink myself. So, okay, we got a couple callers here. Might as well see if the phone lines are even working. Tony, well, you're on the air. Let's see if it works. Hello. Hello. I tested this with my nephew just a little bit ago and it worked. So, okay. Nope. Nope, it hung up. Okay. Do we have to have problems? Let's see here. Man, I hate iPhones. See if I can get this going again, guys. Give me 1 sec here. So irritating. Maybe we're not connected to the Wi-Fi. Okay. That might have been why the cell phone service out here isn't great, and this phone wasn't connected to the Wi-Fi. So, save and start show. I don't think this thing's hooked up. Are you there? Hello. No. No. Okay. No host connection. Okay. $794. I'll get it. I promise. Here it comes.
Thank you for calling Call-In Studios host and call screener line. Please enter your show or meeting number and press pound. That was an invalid number. Please re-enter your show or meeting number, followed by the pound key. That was an invalid number. Please re-enter your show or meeting number, followed by the pound key. That was an invalid number. Please re-enter your show or meeting number, followed by the pound key.
It doesn't like this phone.
Enter your 6-digit PIN number. Welcome.
There
host.
it is.
You are now in the host room and can
Good
manage your
grief.
callers from the Coolant Studio web interface.
All right, let's try this one more time. You're Ty Bernard. You're on the air. Can we hear you?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Holy moly, I can now. What can we do for you, brother?
Hey, I've got a 3406E model that I feel like's a little low on oil pressure, but I've noticed when I change the oil, I'm not getting a full oil filter anymore. Like it sits down a little ways from the top. Doesn't run down the side like it used to when you spin it off.
Well, I'm not 100% sure that those two things are related to each other. They could be. The only thing I can think of that would give you low oil in the filter is if you look at your filter housing. If you take a look at your filter housing there, you have two giant bolts in the side, and those are pressure relief valves. And they are spring actuated and have cups inside of them, and those can wear out and go bad. And maybe that's the reason.
Okay. I sure appreciate it. We'll give that a look.
That's the only thing I can think of as far as having low oil pressure, though. I mean, those could cause you low oil pressure. But that's the only thing I could think of that would give you low.
It was low before it was in framed. And anyhow, I mean, I don't know. I question the oil pump that they put in it, but we'll start with them relief valves. I appreciate it.
All right, sir. Good luck.
Have a good one.
Bye. Okay, phone lines are working. So at least we got that going for us. Yeah, I guess I should turn that up, turn that down. Got to get everything readjusted. You've been trying to get a hold of us for days. We have a whole call center, man, with several people working there. So you're not calling the right number. We post it on videos pretty regularly. The only thing I can think of. All right, sir, you're on the air. What can we do for you?
Hello, Darren. How are you? Oh, you there?
Yeah, go ahead, brother.
So, and we've talked before, but I got a 2K SE12. And I got a Jake sticking on high. It's a customer's whatever, so on and so forth. P-truck I built last year. So the Jake is sticking on high. And one cylinder, tell it, like, go rev it up, drop it. She's sticking, comes down to earth. It's fine. So I ordered a rebuild kit for it. But I've never been into the Jakes on that. I just want maybe just a little bit of advice on, like, is it a lot to rebuild them or not, or what to look out for?
No, it's probably going to be the easiest task you've ever done. You don't even have to take the Jake brakes off. Just take the valve covers off. As soon as you open the Jake brake rebuild kit, you'll see immediately what you have to do. It's incredibly simple. I mean, it's not even really worth telling you, just because it's going to be so obvious and so simple. Take the little tab caps off. Once you do, take a magnet or tweezer pliers, needle nose pliers, pull the guts out. And as those guts come out, you'll immediately see, okay, well, that's what's in my kit is these guts. Re-put those guts in. But see, the problem is that Jake brake rebuild kit isn't going to come with new slave valve and all that, and that's probably where you're having your problem. But not by default, right? So that Jake brake rebuild kit's fairly inexpensive. Throw it all in there. It's very quick to do. You're not going to lose anything by doing that. You're not going backwards. So I would throw that all in there, but don't be surprised if that doesn't change your problem. You're probably going to have to change the slave valve and all that. And that's a little bit different process. But nowhere, none of it's like rocket science or anything at all. So that Jake brake rebuild kit you're talking about, that's going to be like the easiest thing you've ever done on an engine in your entire life. And it might fix your problem. You just have to see.
All right. Well, I appreciate your time and thank you.
All right, brother. Well, good luck, man. And goodbye. Anyway, how's the internet working? It seems to be working fine. I did a speed test. The speed test said it was hauling ass. So, anyhow. All right, let's stick with the callers. Sorry for all the people commenting, but we are starting to pile up some callers. Eddie Jones, you're on the air, brother. What can we do for you? Eddie Jones. Hello. Turn to queue. I didn't hang up on you. I just threw you back in the queue. Alex, you're on the air. What can we do for you? I think that this phone keeps hanging up on the fucking... I don't get it. I don't know what the hell is going on. I'll return him to the queue. Just weird. I've never used this phone before. I didn't have the phone I always use, and I told the girls as they were...
Thank you for calling Call-In Studios host and call screener
Leave me
line.
one of those shop
Please
phones.
enter your show or meeting number and press pound. Enter your 6-digit PIN number. Welcome, host. You are now in the host room and can manage your callers from the Call-In Studio web interface.
All right, back to you, Alex. You're on the air, brother. What can we do for you?
I have a question for you. Well, hello first. So I have an XS Acer that has been single turbo for about almost 3 years now. About 3 months ago, I blew head gasket and rebuilt the engine. Mechanic did, and then a week after that, I blew turbo right after that. The engine is still 18-to-1 compression instead of 16-to-1 compression. I was just wondering how bad is it and how soon should I get to you so maybe you can do the right rebuild on this engine.
So I'm trying to understand why you blew a turbo. What happened before you blew a turbo?
Head gasket, blew a head gasket on cylinder number 5, and head was cracked on a cylinder number 3, number 4, and number 5. The head was cracked, and then I blew a head gasket.
Yeah, your turbo problem and your head problem are most likely related. So to go to that single turbo, there had to be some delete tuning being done there, and
which was done
right, and that tune's tearing the living fuck out of your truck. End of story. this problem's not going away for you. And it's probably not as much the fact that you still have 18 to 1s as it is the fact that you have a shitty tune. That would be my guess. That tune's way too hot.
Gotcha.
The pyrometer is getting so fucking hot that the intake air is so scorching hot it cracked out your head all over the place. And the proof's in the pudding with your turbo grenading on you. I don't think this is a problem you're going to get to go away by putting a different kit in it. This is a problem that goes away by having correct tuning. Obviously, the right kit would help, but I don't, that's not the crux of the problem is all I'm getting at.
Okay. I never see my pyros going even close to 1,000 degrees. It's always stay between 850, 950.
But your engine's telling you a totally different story.
Well, yeah, so I guess I have to bring the truck to you so you can take a look at it and fix it.
Well, I mean, that's also an option, but you should at minimum take care of the tuning issue.
Do you do that?
Probably not something that I do. We try not to mess with that kind of stuff. We're too far exposed. But anyway,
Gotcha.
Long story short, yeah, I mean, you got to fix the tune. Just trying to see if I could make this phone not go into sleep mode. I think that's what's going on. But yeah, you got to fix the tune, man. That's all there is to it. It's not a build problem. It's not an engine problem. It's probably not a driver problem. It's the hero that tuned that thing.
Okay. All right, then. I'll start looking for a good tuner.
All right, brother. Well, good luck.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yep, bye. That somebody said he's got good internet and shit phones. It's always something, right? It's always something. But shit phones is something I can easily fix. The shitty internet was something that I was going to have an incredibly hard time fixing. So I'll take the shit phone for tonight and trade it for trade it for the internet. So I think what might be going on is when I hang up over here, it hangs up over here, but I can't tell. That's why, because I don't do damn iPhones that drive me nuts. Let's try another caller. You're on the air, Denton. Hello.
Telling you different rate.
Denton, it's you, buddy.
Yes, so I guess I have to bring this truck to you so you can.
All right, he's catching huge lag here in the show. Brother, Denton Seedy, it's you, man. You're on the air.
Yes.
There you are. What can we do for you?
Yes, I have been doing bypass filtration since 1995. And I put it on mini trucks and big mining equipment. And one of the things that I have noticed that when you keep that oil cleaner, you get better fuel economy and the engines will just live.
Yeah, that's something that I didn't bring up in any of the videos that I made, but if you're clean, it's a proven fact that oil bypass systems can give you massively better fuel economy. I just don't want to make claims to people. I don't want to overhype something up, but you're absolutely right. Oil bypass systems can see you getting, 15, 20% better fuel gains. I just try to be careful not to get people's expectations too high for something, but you're absolutely right. That is a statistic that is a known statistic for bypass filtration systems that they will do that. And it's just because everything's gliding so much smoother.
You're right, and you just got a better oil film. And I've actually noticed one thing that is really interesting is that these guys that think they're doing themselves a favor running 50,000 miles on their engine oil, they are virtually wearing out the engine.
And that you're talking about guys with no system, I'm assuming.
Yeah, with no systems that are just running 50,000, miles on the oil because the Cummins and everybody else said you could do it. And so everybody tried it and they say, well, we still get warranty, but in 250,000 miles, they're eating about twice as much fuel and pulling a lesser, having to pull a gear lower and all kinds of stuff.
I personally wouldn't take a conventional oil over 10,000 on any heavy duty diesel engine. No way in hell.
No, I wouldn't either. But people do that. That's just the big trucking companies. I've dealt with them.
Yeah, we service fleet.
You know,
We service fleets where their intervals are anywhere from 30 to 40,000. I know exactly what you're talking about. It's probably the most ignorant thing I've ever seen, but it's all about the numbers. And you got to understand something about most of the places doing that. Most of those guys are on 5-year programs and they get rid of those trucks in 5 years. So they don't give a flying shit.
Yep. But they don't realize that after about 250,000 miles, they are burning fuel like it's going out of style.
Yep. No.
And they're losing power and all kinds of stuff.
Just the seating on the rings to the liners is so wore out at that point that they're losing massive efficiency right into the crankcase. You're 100% correct. 100%. That's just not, when I was building what I was going to tell people about the system that we have, I left that out on purpose just because I didn't want to make too many claims in one video, but I do appreciate you bringing it up because it's a truth claim, right? That's verifiable. If you are running some kind of bypass filtration system, your oil's staying clean, you have no moisture in the oil, you have all these things going on for you. There's no suspension, there's no particulates. You're going to get better fuel mileage. End of story. It's the same thing, but like with us doing these titanium disulfide bearings and these isotropic rim finishing, all this stuff, all of those things are going to convert to power gains, which ultimately is fuel savings.
Yep, totally. And I actually have some products that we do that big mining companies put in engines that it's virtually frictionless. So I've had engines with bypass filtration and some of the other products run 50,000 hours.
Yep.
And Cat and I worked for Caterpillar, and we actually tested some of this stuff. And Don Lorenzo worked for me. We first tested a bunch of stuff at Kennecott, Rio Tinto. So
yep.
I've been doing it a long time. I'm 74, but I've been in the biggest mining companies and other stuff like that. So
like the oil that
and over the road trucks,
the oil that we came out with has the tungsten disulfide in it. And if you look at the actual analytics behind tungsten disulfide in oil lubricants, the testing results show a 58% better lubrication. I mean, that's hard to even wrap your mind around.
Yep.
You can't.
That's really good.
You can't tell me that doesn't transfer over to exactly what you're talking about, better fuel and all that. You've been a great caller. You're the best salesman I've had all week.
Well, yeah, I worked for a long time, and so I, Frito-Lay, big companies like Mercer Transport.
Yep.
All these big companies. CR England. There's a bunch of them I've worked with, and actually worked with the engine manufacturers, worked with Mack when they had the crazy EPA fight that Christy Whitman made them all, everybody go back and change the EPA rules.
Yep.
So, but yeah, I'm 74, and I just, done a lot of oil samples, and tribology, and everything else, and that's my whole idea is proactive maintenance, not reactive. Because once you're fixing it, it's junk.
I'm on a crusade, man. I'm on a crusade to eliminate as many people from coming to see guys like me as I possibly can. It may sound crazy, but that is.
And I love it. That's why I love it. I just, I think you're doing the great job, and you're putting some stuff together that's exciting. So,
and it's not just us. We're having a positive impact on the industry that people don't even realize yet, but I see, because we deal so many parts. We do about $200,000 a day in parts, and I'm already seeing changes in the kits that we're selling. We're quickly becoming one of the United States' premier engine parts seller, and that's the direction we've been trying to go anyway. But we're starting to see. And I'm not going to name any names, but we're seeing different coatings. We're seeing rim finishing happen on stuff. And it's because these companies are seeing the trends. They're seeing where the trends are going. I'm seeing all kinds of things that we're doing quickly already coming out in commercial kits.
And I really love the ceramic idea,
If it holds up, right? That's the trick. I mean,
if it holds up, yep.
We have used multiple different people's ceramic coatings, and that's the real trick. Does it do something? Yes. I've got to see real-time data of it running in engines and what kind of thermal transfer it gives. That's all great, but how long does it last, right? Obviously, we've proven that we found a formula that holds up. And so that's that's going to be like the real testing ground, is more and more people move to thermal coatings, is how many people are actually going to have something that is there 300,000 miles later when you pull the head off. You know what I mean?
Yep. And I worked with Volkswagen, and they've actually started doing more like a laser treating to make the piston really hard. And that's worked really well too. So
yeah, there's just so much cool stuff out there, man. Right now, behind the scenes, we're working on doing DLC coatings on camshafts and on pin and roller kits. That's the diamond light coating. You would be familiar with it if you've ever worked on a Detroit 60 series, and it looks like they have all their pins and rollers look like ceramic. That's actually DLC coating. And we're in talks with the company right now to start doing DLC camshafts for us. And if you know anything about that, it's basically a camshaft that won't wear out. Your valve train will come apart around it, and it will still stay in one piece. So we're not even close to done. We're not even, and we're going to be debuting a cylinder head at Matt's that is a compressed graphite cylinder head. I mean, I don't know how much you know about that, but a compressed graphite head is going to be so much more resistant to cracking and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
So
you're going to Louisville Truck Show?
Oh yeah, you bet. Yep. I'm bringing an entire engine. Yeah, we did an elite build and did every trick of the trade to that engine, and we're going to bring it with us and show it off.
Yeah, I've went to Louisville and Las Vegas truck shows for years.
I've never been to one, so it's going to be fun.
And then they are a lot of fun, and there's a lot of people there to see and talk to. So,
well, right on, man. Hopefully,
I have a product that kind of works like hardening the stuff, but it's actually, you put it in the engine, and it's 85% the hardness of diamonds, but the coefficient of friction is 0.003.
That's kind of like tungsten.
And so we put it.
That's kind of like what tungsten disulfide does. It's a nano soluble that you can put in your oil, and as the oil gets hotter, it actually adheres to the metal parts and becomes part of it, offering a sacrificial layer.
Yeah, and that's what actually comes out of Russia and was tested there, and we actually bring it in through Dubai. So, but with big mining companies with 2,000 horsepower engines is what we deal with.
Nice. All right, man. Well, I got
Matsu and all the gang. Well,
I
it's
got
great to
about
talk to you. You probably got a bunch of guys. So,
I
yep.
do, brother. Well, I'll see you at the show. If you make sure you stop by and see us.
Yep. Take care.
Yes, sir. Bye.
Bye-bye.
I didn't want to let that guy go. He's talking about all the kind of stuff I like to talk about. But yeah, the DLC coding, you know, you don't have to think too far to understand what it is. You can look at Detroit's. And if you've had any experience with Detroit's valve trains, their camshafts may come apart, but their pin and rollers don't. You know, the worst we've ever seen is one or two shatter over the years, but you don't have wore out pin and rollers like you do on your Cummins and your Cats and all that. That diamond like coating is pretty unbelievable. And unlike doing so, like you could achieve some kind of close strength in your steel by doing rim finishing like we do, but the problem is rim finishing leaves you a surface finish that will shed oil completely. So it's not really viable for us to do rim on something like a camshaft. So the idea of doing DLC camshafts is just pretty awesome. So are we getting Lorenzo's oil from Extreme Diesel? No, we're not. We have nothing to do with Extreme Diesel. That oil is from Lorenzo's. They made that for us. So that is a unique to us product. So yeah, that would really help out the Cummins. They wanted to make us an oil bypass system, and I attached the petroleum products as part of the deal. And it slowed the deal down by, you know, a couple of months, but still, it's what I wanted. So it's, you know, it is what it is. And back to the phone lines. Hello, you're on the air, brother. What can we do for you?
Yeah, I got a 2022 389 with an X15. I had the overhead ran on it, and now it's like when I'm idling, it doesn't idle down. Like as soon as I start it up, it'll jump up to like 920, and it'll just stay there. I can't get it to go down any. Like it's just staying there all the time.
Okay, so it's kicking into high cold mode, and then it doesn't come out of cold mode. So that's going to be something going on with the sensors or ECM or something like that. You're going to have to get it somewhere where somebody can pull up and see what it's telling you.
It is tuned deleted too. Also.
Okay, did this start to happen immediately after the tune, or this is something that just showed up and you've had it?
No, it's been tuned for a while now. It just happened after I did the overhead on it.
Boy, I seriously doubt it's related to the overhead.
Yeah, because I bought it to your shop a few months back. It's been running good ever since. So.
You brought it to our shop?
Yeah.
So why haven't you brought it back?
I mean, I'm just not in the area right now. I wasn't in the area when it started. Like I said, I'm from Louisiana, so I just had the overhead done last Friday.
Oh, so we rebuilt the engine? Is that what you're saying, or I don't understand?
No. Y'all didn't rebuild it. Y'all didn't rebuild the engine. Y'all did some work to it. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay. I see. Did we do the overhead?
No, y'all didn't. No, another shop did it back in at home.
I understand what you're saying, and I appreciate you. Long story short, man. Yeah, I don't know. It's I mean, if it's dirt, it has to be sensor related. What I mean by it's not the overhead. It's something with the sensor, right, or something like that.
Even if it's not throwing like a check engine light or anything.
It might be. You got to get it hooked up to a computer.
Okay.
Right. If you can get back over to us, we could probably figure it out pretty quick. But you need to get it hooked up to a computer, and Insight's probably going to tell you exactly what's going on. I bet you $100.
Okay. Now, what about like week Jake too? I have the VGT and everyone about a week out too.
You're cutting out really bad.
Oh, I said, like the Jakes, when I put the Jakes on,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the Jakes are weak.
Okay, so your
It still has the VGT and everything.
So your VGT is probably not actuating all the way. It's probably just a sign that your turbo's going out.
Well, the VGT on top of the turbo, the actuator, I just changed that.
Doesn't
Maybe
doesn't mean that the turbo itself that slides in and out is not having an issue.
Okay. 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 All right. Well, I appreciate it then. I'll try to get it by y'all soon.
All right, brother.
All right. Thanks.
Yep, mate. Yeah, I mean, if it's stuck in cold mode, that's somebody bumped something. How do y'all call in? The number to call in, guys, is 573-422-4225. That's 573-422-4225. There are 10 people on hold. I got to keep staying on top of these calls. Somebody in the comment section said, I'm still waiting for an answer to my simple question. Man, I'm answering questions. You see what this is? This is a caller-centric show. You can call in if I'm not answering your question because I can't do both. And there is a pile of people waiting for me on the phone lines. Some of these people have been on hold for over 20 minutes already. So can you ask about transmissions? Of course you can. You're on the air, brother. What can we do for you?
Hello, is this me?
Yeah, it's you.
Oh, hey, what's up, man? I have a question. I have a air compressor. I have a cat engine, SCP engine, and those came with an air compressor, the twin piston one. But every few years it keeps going out. I wanted to switch to a Bendix one, a single one, but I'm not sure what gear would fit my engine. Do you have any thoughts on it, or you know anything about it?
I can't.
Have you ever done a?
I have. I'm having a brain fart. I can't remember if you can just take your spacer off, put it on a regular Bendix, swap the gear and spacer over. I think you can. I'm almost positive you can. I'm kind of scanning the comments section, see if anybody knows the answer to that. I'm pretty sure you can take an Acert style compressor and put it on something like a 6NZ, which is basically what you're saying. And you just swap the little hockey puck and the gear over. I'm pretty sure. And several people in the comment sections are saying yes, you can. So yeah, you shouldn't have any problems. You're just going to use the shit off of your old compressor on the new one. Your new compressor didn't come with any of that shit anyhow. You always have to swap those gears over. Occasionally, you know they will, but it's usually because you're getting boned for a lot of money on a, like a cat branded compressor or something. So, aftermarket compressors.
Yeah, those twin piston ones.
I personally
Those two.
I personally think the Acert style single piston ones are way better. You're not gonna get me to argue with you on that.
Yeah, okay, yeah, because they keep going out before it was every year, but then what I did is because it was hooked up to the turbo, so I took it off the turbo and just put a little filter on it, and ever since I did that, it's lasted me about 2 years now, which is better than 1 year. Like every year I have to replace it, but now it's just leaking. So I was just thinking about swapping it to a single piston.
Yeah, when you do it, I'd hook it back up the way it's supposed to go.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, man. That's all I had for you.
The plumbing on it's a little different, but with just a little bit of effort, you'll figure it out. All right, brother.
Okay.
Good luck.
Hey, listen, I just wanted to thank you for the videos and all that you do, bro. It's really cool, man. Thank you. Good job, bro.
Well, thanks, man. I appreciate it, and good luck out there.
Okay, thank you. I'm in Minnesota.
Oh, are you? All right. Well, go to Matt's.
Yeah.
Come say hi to us.
Who's that? I don't know him.
No, the Mid-American Truck Show.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, for sure.
All
Okay,
right.
man. Thank you. God bless you, bro.
Yeah, thank you. Later, brother.
Bye.
Yeah, replacing a compressor every year. You know, most likely getting too hot for some reason, but I didn't want to dive down that rabbit hole with them, to be honest with you. All right, you're on the air. What can we do for you? Hello. Is it the phone again? No, not the phone. All right, return to the queue. Oh, there again. Hello, you're on the air.
Yeah,
Robert.
yeah. I got two issues. Oh well, actually, kind of about three issues if you want to count all three of them. First issue is when I start my truck up, I got my oil pressure doesn't immediately pick up. It takes a little bit for it to pick up. Second issue, it's all dealing with the oil pressure. Well, some of it is like after about 7,000 miles on my oil change, my oil pressure starts going down. And now I change my oil every 15,000 in this truck, and this way it's always been done. And a third issue is I got oil dumping out of the damn blow-by.
Okay. Are you ready? My turn?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So your first issue is probably a non-issue. Your first issue is probably just nuisance, or your oil line might be gummed up. If it takes a while for it to show the pressure, that's probably has nothing to do with anything. Okay.
Okay.
So I would just take that issue off the table as being an issue. Your second issue, filters plugging up and blow by, they go hand in hand. What that means is
Okay. So
what that means is that you're putting so much contaminants into the crankcase from combustion gas that you're clogging the filter. And you see it in the.
Are you talking about the oil filter?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
that's what I was wondering.
My guess is that your here's what you need to do. Okay, the engine needs to be opened up, and you need to rebuild it. Okay, at bare minimum, this thing needs new liners and new rings. A re-ring kit at minimum that this engine needs. To cure this problem.
Yeah.
In the meantime, you're going to be one of those guys, unfortunately, that ends up with a giant hole in the side of the block. If you would like to avoid that while you're trying to get to the point where you can rebuild it, if you're not already there, if you can't park this thing tomorrow, you got to run it. No, I got to work it for another 2 months. Change your oil change intervals, and trust me on this one, to about every 5,000 miles, and you will most likely milk this thing out till you can get it fixed.
Okay. Okie dokie. Well, that's what I was kind of figuring. I kind of got another. This truck is right there at that limit when they first started putting the DPF filter on them.
Mm-hmm. Which engine is it? Yeah, I never did. Which engine is it?
It's a Cummins ISX. It's a 2010 model.
Okay.
And that's been, I don't know if I should say this online here or not. It's been deleted. Everything's still there, but it's been deleted. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Now the EGR has not been deleted off here, but that's why I'm wondering if I'm getting all the contaminants from the EGR.
No, you're getting the contaminants because the thing is wore out.
Is it wore? Okay. Okie dokie. That's what I was kind of curious. I didn't know if it could be something causing the carbon buildup in the engine or something like that.
Yeah, it is. It is a carbon issue, but it's coming from exhaust gas going straight into the crankcase. You know that because of your blow-by issue.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
brother.
Okie dokie. That's
Yep.
all I need to know. Man,
All
I
right.
appreciate it.
Yep. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Bye.
You too.
Yeah, guys, I know it takes a minute to run through each caller. It would be cheaper to rebuild the engine. Have you seen the price of oil? Oh, that's fucking funny. Oh, man. Well, I had my amusement for the night. But let's keep banging at these callers. There is a lot of them. Michael Jacobs, you're on the air. What can we do for you?
Hey, Aaron, I had my oil changed in a 12.7 Detroit about a month ago, and the technician brought me my oil plug. It had some metal shavings on it, and I ran the truck about 7,000 miles now, and I pulled the plug, tapped the drain hole with my hand, and I looked at the plug again, and there was nothing on it last week, so about 5,000 miles ago. And I wanted to know if that would have anything to do with the Jake brake having a delay. Was it on the high settings? It hits, or it starts off like it's in a low mode, and then it hits forward all in the same setting.
Okay. Having a hard time hearing you. I did hear you, but it's pretty bad. Long story short,
Okay.
your Jake brakes have your Jake brakes have nothing to do with metal being on your magnet. In no way, shape, or form is that even a possibility. But to answer your question, here's the simple answer. You had metal on your magnet. It's like $18 to do an oil analysis. Do an oil analysis instead of wondering and answer your questions. That's going to tell you where this metal's coming from.
Okay. Okay. Makes sense. So, do you think on the Jake hitting hard on a delay, do you think that would have anything to do with getting a overhead adjustment done?
Yeah, that's much more likely than having anything to do with the metal in your oil.
Okay. Okay. Awesome. Well, that's pretty much all I had. The only issues I've ever had out of the truck, and I just wanted to get the answer from somebody that knows what they're talking about. So I appreciate you.
All right, sir. Good luck.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Aaron. Bye.
Bye. All right, Mike, you're on the air, brother. You got a transmission issue?
Perfect. So, yeah, I got an 18-speed Eaton, and the other day it started kicking me out of high on the splitter. So I pulled over, whatever, figure out my line's leaking. Those stupid push connects, right? So I got a new fitting, changed that. It was good for a bit, but then it keeps kicking me out. I'm just trying to figure out what it is. I went ahead and ordered a valve and a new regulator. But in the meantime, I'm just trying to figure out if there's other possibilities, but rebuilding the whole fucking thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible it's your little servo, right? You know, you have a little servo on the side, it's got a piston in it and all that. It's highly possible it's that.
Yeah.
It's not likely, but it is a place to start. You're probably have bigger issues. That would be my guess. It's probably in the synchros.
Because it's intermittent. I mean, it's only happening once in a while. It'll stay. Because right now I'm running it split back. But if I were to split forward, I could keep it going for like a half hour, and then it'll just randomly do it. It'll just hit real hard. It'll stay in.
I hate to tell you this, but your transmission is most likely fucked, right? But because you have this correlation with the air leak and all that, you know, you could have compromised your little servo. It might be worth messing with that. And, you know, I always just take them off and, you know, and clean them and stuff like that. But they do get gummed up. They do have problems. I've had several times in the past where the servo was keeping, you know, high and low. Usually, though, it's like big lag,
one or the other.
Something like that. But what you're describing sounds a hell of a lot more like a serious engine problem. And it probably happened while you had that air leak. It was probably just, not engaging and eating stuff up.
Yeah, I probably chipped something or whatever on the actual splitter. Like one of the splitter tooths there.
That's all in the back box, brother.
Okay, perfect. Well, that's all I had there. I'm going to try to go ahead with changing all that for now and go from there, I guess.
Yeah,
I'm up in Ontario, Canada here, so we've been getting fucking everything, all kinds of weather.
What I'm trying to tell you
Hot,
basically
cold.
is your transmission proper is probably fine. Like the gears, the shafts, the bearings. It's in the back box.
Yeah.
You probably are fucked.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, brother.
Perfect. Thanks.
Yep, bye. I mean, it just is what it is. It's just so unlikely that it's not the back box. Yep. Your transmission does that. Your transmission's probably toast. That's factoids. All right, you're on the air, brother. What can we do for you?
Hey, yeah, this is Hector Rousseau. How are you doing?
Good, man.
Hey, simple question. I got a Detroit 60 and a 2010 Worth, rated at 475. My question is I want to get a little bit more horsepower, but I'm kind of scared of these tunes. Is it safer to kind of naturally get more horsepower? And what I mean by that, maybe change the transmission out from a 10-speed to a 13-speed, or increase the turbo, by a bigger turbo for it, or, replace the injectors, or, should somebody put a tune on it? Yeah, I'm always scared of everybody putting these tunes on it. I don't know what they're doing, blowing these engines up. What are your thoughts?
Well, I mean, depends on which D deck you have. You have a 60 series, right?
Yes, sir.
I mean, your 12.7 really caps out at 500, and all kinds of people might shit the bed for me saying that, but that's where Detroit caps them out, right? So, right, you're almost where that thing can be, and be reliable. One of the reasons your Detroits are famous for lasting for 3 million miles and putting 4 gallons of oil out on the ground and they're still running is because they are a tiny liter engine, that don't have a lot of power and they just don't get wore out.
Makes sense.
Changing your transmission.
And, it's over 1 million miles.
Well, sure, that's probably a huge contributor. It's probably just wore the fuck out, and you're probably only have like a 420 horsepower engine because of that, right? So that's probably a lot of it.
Right.
But to answer your question, changing your transmission isn't going to do anything like you're thinking. All it's going to do is change whether you get gear bound or not. And if you're not climbing mountains consistently with heavy loads, changing out the transmission isn't going to help you really at all, right? 10-speed big failing is just being gear bound. That's it. And having to run the RPMs up way higher if in a hard pull where you're having to go up like 1800 or something on a cat just to be able to grab the next gear, because it's such a long drop to the next gear, you could end up dead in the water and go backwards on a hill or something. You see what I'm saying? But changing the transmission to a 13-speed isn't going to change your situation at all. You're going to be like, well, that was a big waste of money, right? Putting a bigger turbo on it, on an engine that's wore out, you're probably not. You might even see the opposite happen to you, where you're like, fuck, this thing won't build boost anymore, and whatever else. I mean, it's probably just time. And putting more horsepower.
So yeah, my money would be.
Yes, putting more horsepower tuned to an engine that's that wore out, you just guaranteed the short road to a shop anyway.
Sure. So better spend, just go ahead and do an overhaul.
I mean, you're probably going to be the money most well spent, to be honest.
And I'm guessing, because, I don't want to be down very long. So, I mean, do y'all swap engines out, like bring an engine to you and just buy one that's already rebuilt so I can just drop it in there and keep going?
Yeah, if you want something quick and affordable, call the main number. We do
Okay.
we do core outs all the time. They're really affordable and it's a pretty fast deal. We pull your engine out, take all your stuff off the outside, throw it on that thing, throw it in. We've been doing more and more and more and more of those. I think there's 4 of them going on at the shop right now. But those are all through, my son's call center, the Bennett Truck Center call line. It takes way longer to have us custom build you an engine, that's for sure, right? You'd probably be right now. I think the wait is 6 to 8 weeks to get an engine built by us, custom built by us, and they're quite a bit more money because we make them brand new. You can get a
Sure.
not that what we're selling right now isn't a great engine, and we stand behind them just like we do everything else. It's just because we changed our business model, I wanted to make sure we could still have affordable options for everybody. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So yeah.
Well, I'll look into that Monday and call down there and start pricing what y'all got and start planning. Like I said, it's crazy how these Detroits just keep going and keep going, and I know it's getting close to.
Yeah.
I'm almost wanting to see just how long it can go, but
yeah.
But anyway, I know you're busy. I appreciate it.
Yep. Have a good one, man.
All right, you too. Bye.
Bye. The commenter, I think it was Glenn, made a comment about the price of oil. That's pretty valid these days, I think it's going to get a lot worse before it gets better. Seeing how far your engine will go, you're getting way worse fuel mileage, way bad oil consumption. How much money you actually putting into the atmosphere that could have went towards an overhaul and kind of fixed all your problems anyway, So Glenn Long's joke actually has a hell of a lot of validity to it. And, that's the day and age we're living in now. All right, you're on the air, brother. What can we do for you?
Hey, I'm on the air.
Yep.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
All right, man. So you're about to help me settle a debate with me and all my buddies. We're all listening right now at the truck stop, so I appreciate you. We all appreciate you taking time out of your day, especially at the end of the day, to do this. But so what our debate is one, and now you're going to settle it. I ain't here to try to argue or anything. So we all haul cattle. I try to say that we need to be changing our oil about 15 to 20,000 miles. And the reason why is there's a lot of places, especially during the wintertime, we're getting where we have to idle our trucks. We keep them idled up about 900 RPMs. But the way that I see it is the oil is still flowing through the engine. So that means the oil is getting broke down. They're saying we need to be changing the oil about 40,000 miles. I'm saying between 15 and 20,000 miles, just for the simple fact the engine's moving. So what is your stance on something like that?
You want to know my honest opinion? My honest opinion.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. I don't believe it's an opinion. I have thousands of oil samples behind me and literally at this point, thousands of engines behind me to lean on and look back and get some knowledge for this. I personally would never take an engine over 10,000 miles with conventional oil. No fucking way in hell. No way in hell. It starts to break down. It's breaking down at 10,000 miles. By the time you get to 15,000 miles, the condition of your oil between 15 and 10,000 miles is astronomical. 10,000 miles, honestly, is the most I would go on a conventional oil based on oil samples that I did for years and years. At some point in my trucking career, and I had 23 trucks, I switched to full synthetic and started running to 20,000 miles. And I would see better results on 20,000 mile oil than I would see at 10,000 on conventional. So that convinced me to run full synthetics for 20,000 because you actually save a little bit of money. But I learned really quick I had to do a filter change at 10,000 because I would start to lose oil pressure on some of the trucks between 16 and 18,000 miles because the filter wouldn't keep up, right? So
Right.
I don't agree with any of you guys on going even 15,000 miles. And if here's how you really settle the debate, take me out of it, and
Okay.
and 2 or 3 of you guys go on Amazon and go to Under My Hood. It's going to cost you like $30 to get 3 of their kits, and you guys all do oil tests and look at the analysis, right? Look at what it's telling you.
Right.
And I goddamn guarantee you those guys going 40,000 miles, they're going to tell you that the oil test, the oil samples are going to tell you that you are running on oil that is barely doing its job.
So if we all switch now, I know switching from the conventional to full synthetic, once you go full synthetic, you can never look back.
No, that's not true. That's a huge myth. If I was out on the road, like I ran full synthetic in all my trucks for the greater part of my trucking career, not for the last, for the greater part. And and I was running a type 4, tier 4 or tier 3 oil, sorry, which is your conventional full synthetic. I wasn't running AMS oil or anything like that. I was just running like a good T6 or something. And, that's not a 1,000,000-mile motor oil, but it's a 20,000-mile motor oil. No problem. If you do the math, you're actually going to save money at doing it like that. But even then, that oil is going to break down. You have to get into a tier 4 oil made from natural gas if you want to start taking stuff super far out there, right? You want to start like the oil, and I'm not trying to get you to buy oil for me, but like the oil that we're selling right now. I fully expect you to go 1,000,000 miles on that engine oil, and I'm not kidding. I'm not talking out of my ass. We expect you to be able to do that, right? Depending on.
And that's what the oil bypass that I hear you talking about.
Yeah, you'd have to have an oil bypass system to even make that viable. I mean, even if you go in and you wanted to get on AMSOIL's program, they won't tell you to go more than like 20,000 miles on their oil unless you have their bypass system. And then they tell you it's a 1,000,000-mile engine oil. Right, you have to have the bypass system, to take everything out.
So, what would you say about doing the bypass with just conventional oil then?
Well, let me answer your question from a second ago. Okay, so I ran. I ran full synthetic forever, and I would tell my guys, if they're out on the road and they needed to get a gallon of oil, get a gallon of oil. It hurts nothing at all for you to pour a gallon of conventional oil or 2 or even 5 or 6. You can mix them 50-50. All that stuff you hear is all bullshit. You could mix any amount of those types of oil that you want. You could put a tier 4 oil in there and put a tier 2 oil in with it. And it won't hurt anything at all. That's absolute nonsense. And the people that tell you, oh, if you ran this kind, you have to run it for the life of the engine, all that stuff is all nonsense, all of it.
Nice.
Yeah,
and then
if you're
oil,
if you're out running a full synthetic and you get out somewhere and you're low on oil and you need to add a gallon or something, and you have to walk in the store and buy a bottle of Rotella T4 Mobile Delvac, or God forbid Della 400, it don't make a fuck at all. It just doesn't.
Nice. So if we all switch to a full synthetic on our next oil change, we shouldn't have to worry about anything. And that would also, like you said, 10,000 miles, changing the oil filters on it at 10,000 to be able to get to the 20,000. We would have better overall luck with doing something like that than just with the conventional oil.
100%, because your full synthetics don't oxidize and all of that. That's the big problem. They're much less prone to becoming acidic. Once your oil becomes acidic, it starts to destroy all the internal engine components. These guys going 40,000 miles on a conventional oil, there's no way their valve trains look minty fresh. There's no fucking way.
I'm looking at my buddy letting me know that's why I whipped his ass going uphill right now. Because I've been running conventional oil, but like I go to about 15,000, especially during the winter time, just because we've been idling it, and I just push it to 15, and then I say, hey, it's time for an oil change. But now with what you just said, I'm about to go synthetic.
Oh, I certainly would. Even if you're not going to go balls to the wall and get like a tier 4 oil, and just do sampling and run the same oil forever, at least go for a tier 3 full synthetic like T6 or Cinepex full synthetic or something like that, you know. And you're gonna see and take me up on it. Do oil samples and see for yourself. I already know the results.
And what did you say that was? That under my hood? Is that what you said? Under my hood to get the sample kit?
That's probably the easiest one. It's not the best panel out there, but for just a guy trying to do shit himself and quick and easy and running around on the road, yeah, they send it right to your house. It's super easy to do. You just fill the bottle up, put it back in the packaging they give you, and it's already postmarked. You just throw it in your post office box, and they email you your results within a couple of days.
Nice.
Yep, under my hood for sure.
Well, man, I really appreciate your time. Thank you for, after a long day, wanting to get online and do something like this. We all appreciate you doing that, man. God bless, and definitely, I can't wait to see more content from you.
Yeah, if you can make it out to Matt's, man, we'll be there. We're trying to meet as many people as we can. So hopefully you make it out there.
Appreciate it.
Yes,
Good luck,
sir.
man.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, Dominic, you're on the air. Guys, I promise I'm going as fast as I can here.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, I can. What can I do for you?
Quick question for you. So I work for my family's business, and we have predominantly 379, 389 triaxles. So one of the 2005, like literally just like blew up, 830,000 on it. Original block, it was on its third head. So I've been like kicking the idea around on what motor to put on it. Would you go a 2KS C12, a 2WS, or a 6NZ? I have the 6NZ, and 2WS are very common and everyone, praises them, but not too many people build a 2KS.
So what engine's in it right now?
A KCB C13.
Okay. A KCB.
C13s, they're just all. Go ahead.
The C12's more gutless than that thing, brother.
Yeah, the C12s are cool. We used to have them. They're just loud and, I don't know. They're loud, single turbo. It just seems like the C13, they make way more heat. They're not loud. They're just like more problematic, it seems like. That in our personal experience.
I mean, I haven't seen that. I don't agree with that, but that doesn't change your personal experience, right? I can't attest for what you had go on. But long story short, this should kind of tell you everything you know. The C12 is in the same class of engine as the C10. Okay, they belong in that class. Your C13 belongs in the same class of engine as the C18. The C13, C15, C16, and C18 are in the same class of engine. Your C13 is a much more robust, a much more powerful, and a much beefier built engine than that C12. If I had a KCB,
yeah,
and KCB is the older one, right? What is the other one called?
It starts with an S. This is a 05, so it's a very early.
Yeah, so
C13.
The KCB is a great engine in my opinion. If you are gonna like swap it to something bigger, obviously it'd be way more preferable to put, but gonna go to a C15 of some kind. There are going to be quite a few modifications involved in that. Just give you a heads up. It's not just going to fit right in, but it can be done. We've done it several times. But the C15 is physically longer engine, so there's going to be drive lines getting cut. There's going to be motor mounts getting moved and stuff like that. It's the LEE. That's what it is. Yep. Yeah, the LEE is the later one. The LEE is a fucking turd. I wouldn't want to own one of those. But the KCB is a badass little engine. If it was me,
so would you
I
like single turbo?
KCP?
You can't, man. I mean, you can, but you don't want to because there is no way to lower the compression on that. Probably one of the most common phone calls we get at the call center when we're selling parts is people calling in, common questions that gets rejected is, should I single turbo my KCB or LEE? And the answer is no, because you cannot lower the compression and you're just going to have all kinds of problems. Your most cost effective.
Yeah, I live in a.
The most cost effective thing you can do is fix what you have. 100%.
Can you get them to bark a little bit more, like with the Jakes, or not really?
I mean, it should already be doing great. I've never had these problems that you're talking about. I mean, if you're talking about the way it sounds, that's all in the pipes, brother. That's all in the pipes. Good 5-inch pipes.
Yeah, I mean,
piped all the way through. Is as loud as you're gonna get. I mean, that engine,
like the C12s, they have
that engine that you're talking about comes with catalytic converters in the stacks, and they're probably still installed.
They're straight from the downpipe off the turbo to 7-inch stacks. And like for some reason, with those C12s, like they have like such a unique sound compared to like the 13s, you know.
Take it down to 5-inch stacks, and she'll be louder than shit.
Yeah, I just didn't know because it was like the twins on there quieting down, the Jakes.
No.
Or a C12 is just a single turbo.
No, take it down to 5-inch pipes. Like,
so you have a C13 and stick with that.
I'm just telling you what I would do. I wouldn't own a C.
No,
I wouldn't.
That would be cool.
Own a C13 in the first place. That's it's not really about what I would do. I wouldn't own one of those in the first place. But I try to give people advice that is sound life advice instead of you know what I mean. So
yeah, exactly. The longevity of those are really good. I mean, that truck made it to 830,000.
Exactly. So,
and it's on a dump. It's a dump truck build, and obviously they're in and out of quarries and dirt jobs all day, so they're just picking up a ton of contaminants in their oil and their air, and they just chug along,
Yep. Well, somebody in the comments and a couple people in the comments are saying that the twin turbos quiet it down quite a bit. That's just simply not true. I probably owned more variety of acerts than anybody in these threads. I can almost guarantee that. And every one of my acerts were as loud, if not louder, than all of my single turboed cats. I only drove acerts because I love them with twins on them. I never singled out one of my own trucks. And I did a couple of my drivers, but never any ones that I personally drove. And I always had the loudest truck. So I don't agree with that. I don't think that's a factor. But anyway. All right, bro. Have fun with that one. Give us a call if you need some support on that, okay?
All right. Thank you for everything you do.
All right, brother. Have a good one.
Thanks. You too. Bye.
Bye. Good grief, guys. The callers just keep stacking and packing. Matt, you're on the air, brother. What can we do for you? I think you guys missed me.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, man. What can we do for you?
Well, so I'm new to this whole owner-operator. I had a couple drivers first and just started my own owner-operator thing. Love the N14. Got a truck with an N14 in it. And I'm chasing, I don't know if it's an injector issue or what it is. And I know nothing about working on a truck. Like, I'm literally learning as I go.
Well, welcome to having an N14. Injector problems come with the territory.
Right. So it's number 3. And I changed the boost pressure regulator or seal on the back of the intake. I've changed that 4 times now. And as soon as I fire it up, it runs awesome, doesn't smoke, runs good, doesn't miss, then throws the check engine light on and shuts off my
water temp gauge, oil temp gauge, and it starts puffing and bang, just starts misfiring. Throw the old one back in, it's fine. But then smoking after idle, everything comes back. Is it injectors, or why is it that I changed that deal that it doesn't fix the issue?
What did you change?
The boost pressure sensor on the back of the intake.
Okay. How long does it take before it starts giving you problems?
About 5 minutes.
Okay. So the first thing I would do on this one, brother, is on your ECM, there's a fuel in and a fuel out. Okay.
Yep.
On the fuel outside is a check valve. Change that check valve. It sounds like
I've done that too.
Okay, you've done that. Okay.
Yep.
All of those other check engine lights that are coming on is because the engine's trying to die on you, most likely. I'm just guessing. So long story short, yeah, that's what I'm getting ready to say. It needs to be diagnosed properly. It needs to be hooked up to a computer, for one, and see what it's telling you. But it needs to be diagnosed properly. It might be a short in the harnesses, like fellas are saying in the chat here. Might be injector problems. You can figure out pretty quick if it's injector problems, though. You have the Deutsch connectors on the outside. You can unplug them one by one, see if there's, it changes any of the runnability issues. But most likely you need to get it to a shop that has a computer that can look at what's going on with it when it's trying to run. And you'll be able to walk that backwards and fix whatever's going on.
That leads to my next issue. We've tried that, and it won't communicate with the computer.
Okay.
It says it's got low voltage to the computer or whatever, the ECM.
That could be causing all your problems. The internal battery is going dead.
So it's the ECM, or is it the wiring?
Yep. And so the injector drivers are probably not doing their job.
Okay.
But yeah.
Well, I got a buddy that said he'd let me try his ECM to see if that's it. So
right, but it could be a low voltage problem from a bunch of other things, right? Like Grizzly's saying, check the main power wire off of the battery. Data link failure. I don't think they have a data link in the way that you're thinking, do they? You know what? So like if you had it at my shop, I would get rid of all of your harness and hook directly to it with bench harnesses. You need to go to a better shop, really. I don't mean better people. I mean better equipment.
Well, trust me, I that's why I'm calling you, man, because I'm a dumb dirt track racer that decided owning a truck was a good idea.
Yeah, you need to get you need to go somewhere where they have a bench harness and they can eliminate everything except for the ECM. Right, so they're just talking to the ECM with the computer, and if we're not having any communication issues, then it's something outside the ECM. If we're still having communication issues, it's the ECM. And so going to the people with the right equipment in the long run is going to save you a lot of money, because you go somewhere, it's your ECM, and now you're $3,600 into whatever the hell they figure out going to charge you for an ECM, and it doesn't fix your problem, and on and on and on. Yeah, that's one of my biggest bitches about this industry is guys throw parts of stuff to fix stuff, and that's where you're going to end up if you don't get somewhere where they can diagnose it properly. And a bench tester is probably the only way you're going to figure out your problem without spending money for a reason.
Do you have a recommendation up around Iowa area?
Iowa area. If you call the call center tomorrow and ask the guys, I think we do, and they can get you hooked up with somebody.
All right, I appreciate that. And then one last thing, and then I'll get off real quick. So I run T6, and I change every 10,000 anyway. Am I just wasting money?
On what now?
I run T6 oil.
but I change every 10,000. Am I just throwing money out the window?
I mean, not really, because a tier 3 oil is so much fucking better than a tier 4 oil. There's almost not a comparison. Just like a T4 oil is so much better than a tier 3 oil, there's almost no way to compare them, right? You're not really throwing your money away, but you should probably take it for longer. That's all.
Okay. It just changed the filter, like you said.
Yeah, but I mean, don't take my word for it. Anybody ever. Oil samples are so inexpensive and so convenient and so easy to use. That's the right way. Take it out to 50. First of all, take it to 10,000, send out an oil sample. Put 5 more thousand on it, pull out enough to send out an oil sample again, then go to 20,000, pull an oil and change the oil if you'd like, but send a sample out for that and see what the difference is at 10, 15, and 20. And then you don't have to trust idiots like me.
I appreciate that. But
and here's the other thing you got to understand is your engine might not be the same as somebody else's down the road. You might be putting a lot more crankcase gas down into your, combustion gas down into your crankcase. That's why it's important that, that people, don't take anything I say as a blanket for every engine on the planet. Your fucking burrito might be blown the fuck up, and who knows, right? So, there's tools that all of our disposal, having to do together for sure. So, anyway, I think Grand Prairie is in your area, but if you call the, we have our number posted like a million times. Call the call center tomorrow, and somebody will point you in the right direction.
All right, I appreciate it.
All right, brother. Good luck, man.
Yep. Thanks for everything.
Yep. Bye. Iowa Repair Shop. I don't know if we work with them or not. I think we do. Cat has an oil sample kit. Used to be $20. The last one I bought from Cat, but actually I shouldn't even reference that, because the last one I bought from Cat was hundreds, but it was a multi-panel that was testing for fuel, specifically testing for gasoline in the oil. And that one was expensive, man. Very expensive. Jeff, you're on the air, bro.
Hey, how you doing? So I'm running it's an 09 engine Cummins ISX, and essentially I've rebuilt the engine about 2 years ago. I got PAI ceramic coated pistons when I did do it, and I did do a stage 4 head from diesel cast. But essentially, whatever, it's a pretty built engine. It has a bigger intake and a 8-speed manifold and a custom turbo out of a guy from Oregon. But so my question is I've been running my pyro. It is tuned up, obviously, and I've been running, I'd say about 1,000 degrees to 1,200 on my pyro, which my pyro sensor is before the turbo. But my question is am I running it too hot?
What engine?
Like as far as that temperature goes?
What engine was it again?
The ISX 871.
VGT turbo?
No, non-VGT.
No, it's not too hot.
What would be considered too hot?
Over 1,200. I'm not a big fan
so
of
max of.
I've said this many times. You can take a turbo to 1,200 post turbo pyrometer. Okay. I don't think it's wise to hang there for a long period of time. I really don't. Grizzly's saying I've hit 1,400 a lot with mine. Even that, that's really pushing the envelope going to 1,400. It's really about sustaining it that kills you, right? Sustaining 1,200 on a 6-mile pole loaded heavy, I don't care who you are, it starts to hurt the engine. It starts to really take a toll. right? But running up to 1200 periodically doesn't matter at all. Really doesn't.
So what about running at, $1,000 all day long?
Don't matter at all.
Won't hurt it? Okay. I mean, I do have a 215-degree oil thermostat and a dual PDI oil cooler on it as well. And 110 degrees with 125,000 pounds, 130,000. I've never seen it get over 220 degrees, and it'll just pull. But my pyro will start climbing, so I'm basically shifting down to keep my pyro because it'll just keep dumping fuel or something. I don't know.
If you're hanging in there, 11, 12, I wouldn't worry about it, man. Honestly.
Okay. So anything over 12 for any kind of time is just cooking it then, essentially.
You're playing with tragedy.
That's the fun part of trucking, I guess. But you're right.
You're getting in a truck, you're playing. Anyway.
That's fair. All right. Okay. Well, I appreciate your time. That's the only question I had. It's to the 1,000 all the time. Like, I mean,
yeah, I wouldn't
all the time.
I wouldn't worry about that.
I've never been worried about it. So anyway.
I would.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Later, man.
All right.
Starting to get tired. What's he got for a tune? I don't know. All right, guys, we're coming to the we're starting to wind down to the bottom of the second hour. So we're not going to take any more calls. We have 6 people on hold. We'll run through you guys. I appreciate you waiting. I'm going to get you right now. Caller number 32, you're our last caller, and so we're cutting it off. Don't call in so we can get to these last guys here. Appreciate everybody participating. Mark Savage. Mark Savage, you're on the air, brother. What can we do for you?
Hey, Aaron. How's it going?
Good.
I got a C15, 2005. A lot of miles on it, but I've always had this problem, and I can't get a good answer. I put thermostats, water pumps, and after watching some of your TikTok videos and stuff, you've preached how important it is to get and keep your engine running at operating temperature. And I can't ever get it over 175 degrees unless I'm on a real hot day on a heavy pull. It'll run 175, 150 to 175 all day long. And that doesn't make sense to me I would think with 190 degree thermostats, wouldn't they stay closed until that water gets to 190 degrees?
So this is a common problem that guys have. That guys will come, periodically throughout the year and have this problem because I preach about exactly what you're preaching about, and people will come and like, man, I need help. This thing will never get warm. And 90% of the time, when you hook up to it with a computer and run down the road, the computer and the manual thermostat gauge are reading 20 or so degrees differently.
Really? So you think it's just in my gauges?
I don't know. I'm just telling you what we find, right? Because it's so unlikely what you're saying is a thing, right? Does your engine fan ever come on?
Yeah, like I say, on a real hot day, if I get over 200, 210 on a good pull, it'll kick on.
Where does it kick on at?
But on probably about a little over 200, probably 2.5, 210.
Okay, so your thermostat gauge in the truck is reading vastly different than the ECM because the ECM doesn't allow that particular engine fan to come on until 218 to 220 degrees. So that's how much far off you are.
Okay.
So you're reading about 15 degrees to 16 or so degrees cooler than it actually is.
Is there any way to correct that as far as, or would you think like
Drive it off a
my
cliff.
gauges are reading wrong, or is it my ECM?
No, it's the sensor or the gauge. That's all. I would start with
Okay.
the sensor. It's an
Yeah, because I mean,
expensive sensor.
and that is on the engine itself.
Yep.
Okay, and it's just what kind of sensor is that called, so I know what to look for?
Coolant temp sensor.
Just a coolant temp sensor.
Yep.
Okay. That, and if that doesn't change it, then it's got to be on the gauge. You would speculate.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, that's what I really needed to know. Other than that, I didn't know you were going to the Med Center. Now I'm kind of wishing I was going down there. This is the second year I haven't gone, but anyway, I might end up seeing you down there anyway. So
Yeah, find the time, brother. I'm hoping.
all righty. I appreciate your show and I appreciate your info.
Yes, sir. Good luck.
Thank you.
Bye.
See you, Aaron.
Anyway, everybody's giving that guy a hard time about this sensor. You got ruthless Xander, I think. Is that your name, Xander?
Yep. You're correct.
Right on, brother. What can we do for you?
Hey, brother. I have a Peterbilt. It's a heavy haul truck. It's got a C15 block with a 6NZ head, single turbo with no actuator on the turbo, and it's an industrial engine. We customized it to fit in my truck. The truck runs good. It pulls super strong. This concern I've had with it is when we first start driving it, at regular operating temps or whatever, it pulls 40 pounds of boost. But after a while, it starts going down to about 30, 32. Then sometimes it goes to 28 when you're wide open, And it seems more of a fuel problem. Like it doesn't puff as much smoke, black smoke as it used to. Like when it pulls 40 pounds of boost. It feels more of a fuel problem, and it's not as snappy. What would you think that would be?
Derating.
Derating, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Would a check engine light come on for that or no?
No, not a guaranteed.
No, huh?
So I kind of missed what engine is this again? I mean, I know about you said 6NZ head, but
yeah, it's an industrial engine. It was in a concrete pumping machine. It had 1,000 hours when we bought it.
Okay.
We bought this 4 years ago, and we changed the bell housing, whatever.
What kind of engine was it?
It's a C15 with a single turbo and a 6NZ head, factory made from.
Okay. First of all, there's no such thing as the C16 head. They're the same head.
Okay.
So
no, that's 6NZ, not C16.
Same thing. They're all the same head. All of them.
Okay.
I mean, all of them, from the very first 5EK all the way to the SDP. They all have the same head.
Really?
Yep.
Okay.
They also all have the same liner.
Really? But the twin turbos heads are different, or no?
Nope. They all also have the same main bearings. The only thing different.
Really?
The only thing different on the Acert is their rod bearing got different. That's it. Just a little bit.
Okay.
But if you are running fine, fueling fine, and all of a sudden it just drops boost, right, and doesn't want to give you any power, it's derating on you.
Yeah, it pulls fine. I've driven the truck. We pull 9 axles with it, and we've driven it for 4 years. It still pulls fine at 30 pounds of boost, but you can just tell it's not snappy, and it puffs less. It's not pulling the way it does when you first start driving it. I don't know if it's a fuel temp has something to do with that, or
Yeah, I
like
mean,
you said,
yes,
might be derating.
fuel temp issue can give you a 15% derate.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Okay, yeah, I'll keep that into consideration.
You're derating for some reason. You need to hook a computer up to it. It's probably telling you why.
Okay. Yeah, I'll have that taken care of and looked at. Yeah, I do appreciate it, brother.
All right, man.
Have a good one.
You too. I don't think I'm guessing at that one, by the way, guys. That thing's derating on him. I'd be willing to bet money on it. It probably has a fucking retarded tune on it just by he's talking about it's smoking less and this and that. It shouldn't really be smoking at all, right? I just didn't want to go down that rabbit hole. It's getting late, but that thing's derating for some reason. Anyway, Lewis, you're on the air, brother. What can we do for you?
Question for you. I've always ran cat motors, and I had a chance to buy a 2008 International with that ISM Cummins in it. Had problems with the EGR and stuff, so we deleted the EGR and all that. The question is, what fuel mileage should these trucks be getting? Because I get literally 4 mile a gallon loaded or unloaded, regardless. And it's got 411 gears in it, 13-speed transmission. And at 65 mile an hour, I run right around 1,600 RPM.
On an ISM?
Yes. An ISM Cummins. I think it's 660 or 661 cubic inch.
Right. The ISMs are quite a bit smaller engines. What's the horsepower rating on that thing?
It was 425 factory. When we deleted it, I only bumped it to 450.
Mm-hmm.
And I gained a half mile a gallon that way. But I work on trucks all the time. I wasn't after horsepower, I was more after the torque side. You know, but I can't get this truck to get anything over 5 mile a gallon ever.
Right.
4 is all I can get.
It probably because you're overworking that engine for the size it is. That would be my guess.
Overworking.
It's probably
better off just get rid of it because it don't got 90,000 miles. Go buy a big C13, C15 again.
Yeah, it's just underpowered for what you're doing, and so you're just guzzling fuel because you're having to work the fuck out of it all the time, no matter what you're doing with it.
Okay. Yeah, because everybody keeps telling me, "Oh, that's a 7 to 9 mile gallon motor," and I'm like, "Shit, I can't even get that bobtailing."
Yep.
So.
ISM's just too small, man. It's like the guys calling with their C12s and wanting to know how they can fix the problem.
I've had a C12. The bulletproof motors, you change the oil, but they're underpowered as well.
Yep.
So, yeah, that's what I was curious if you had any insight if I need to look for something else. But I mean, like I said, I worked on this stuff. I mean, a no check engine, like everything's working properly. I was more after if I'm overlooking something. You know what I mean?
No, I don't think so. It's just you're asking too much out of it.
Okay. So, well, I appreciate it. I won't keep you long. I know you've been on here all night. So, appreciate what you do for us.
Have a good night.
Yep.
Bye.
You too. Safe.
All right, 3 more to go. Austin, you're on the air, brother. What can we do for you?
Yeah, how's it going, Aaron? My name's Austin Marion. So I've got a 1988 Freightliner cab over, and it's got a 34.6, an 18C prefix motor. So that means it'd be a peak motor. I bought the truck, and when I went and picked it up, the truck's perfectly fine. Nothing wrong with it. I drove it home, and now it is pushing coolant out of the overflow tube. I should add, there's no overflow reservoir. It's just a tube coming out the radiator on this truck. But it's coolant, it's pushing coolant out the overflow, and this truck has a Kaiser shutdown system. I don't know if you're familiar with them or not, but the truck is like the truck's pushing coolant. My question is for you here. I'm 20 years old. I bought this truck. I want to put this truck over the road. I'm not trying to break my bank account on a rebuild, but I was told to call you and ask you what would be the best bang for your buck rebuild kit. And when I say rebuild, I'm wanting an end frame.
Well, the first thing I would do, man, honestly, is with anything that, you know, especially if you're trying to get into trucking and make something of yourself in it. It's a hard business to do that. And the first thing you need to learn is that you have to diagnose whatever's going on and figure out what's going on, because the quickest way to fucking go broke is to not know what's going on with your truck and hand it over to somebody else to tell you what's wrong with it. And next thing you know, you're rebuilding it front to back, and all these things are going on. You know, you have to look at the first things first is that truck doesn't have much value. Doesn't make it not a cool truck. Doesn't make it not something that you're proud to have, but the value's not there.
Yep, you're right.
So you can't be going dumping $1 million miles or $1 million into it. And that peak engine's a very that's an undesirable engine as well, right? So you have you have an old truck with and doesn't make it bad, and it's just not a more desirable one that people are going to try to get from you. Okay, so the first thing you need to do is figure out where we're pushing coolant. I'm gonna guess you bought it with a problem, right? Obviously.
No, I bought the truck, and when I got there, it fired up, and I drove it 7 hours home. And picked it up in eastern Iowa. I live up in South Dakota. I drove it 7 hours home, and there was no problem. And I got home at like 2 o'clock in the morning to shut her down here in front of my house. I'm a company driver now. People I work for in a shop, and I fired it up the next morning, drove it up to the shop, and when I got out to open the bay doors, it was pushing coolant like crazy. And I should add, didn't get hot on the way home. You know, my oil pressure, it held a steady idle or PSI. It was pushing 40 at idle, and then when it was going down the road, it was a strong 60.
Mm-hmm. If you didn't get it hot on the way home, and all you did was park it and start it the next day, you bought it with the problem.
Gotcha. Well, I mean, we'll go on.
I don't know. So either your head's ruined, right? But on an engine that old, the odds of it being a liner issue, a sunk liner, and or cavitational erosion in the liner, is incredibly high.
Gotcha.
So I mean, the first thing you need to do, like somebody just, is it the air compressor? Is it this? Is it that? First thing you need to do is make sure there's combustion gas in that coolant. What if there's no combustion gas in that coolant? You rebuild the whole goddamn thing, and it's your compressor, right? So go to your local Napa or go get on Amazon and get a combustion gas tester. You want the stuff that's like the blue fluid with the little squeezy ball. And see if it turns green when you're running it. If it does, then you're fucked, right? So you got to get that thing opened up. That is a very affordable engine to rebuild, especially if you do it yourself. If you have the wherewithal to do it yourself, go. My advice to you, if you're gonna try to do it yourself, is go on Amazon or something like that and buy the applicable maintenance book for that thing. And my next word of advice is to you.
I'll cut you off here real quick.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm just not trying to segue past this because you're saying air compressor and it's sending lights off my head here. The air compressor on the truck is it's popping off. You know how like on this normal truck after it builds 120 or 110, whatever the hell they're going to sit at,
Yeah.
how those pop off, and then you know how with the bad one it's just pop, 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 pop.
Well,
well, this truck it started doing that. It is popping off every like 2 minutes.
That doesn't make it your problem, but it certainly could be. That's why a combustion gas test is going to tell you, right?
Gotcha. Okay.
And you got to realize that, you know, I may have been droning on, but I'm not just talking to whoever I'm talking to. I'm talking to anybody listening. And you know, these podcasts guys will get 10 to 15,000 views after the fact because people realize they can just watch these later. So I always have to be mindful that I'm talking to a broad spectrum of people. So I try to give as much information as I can to help as many people as I can, not just the guy I'm talking to. So what I'm trying to tell anybody that's listening and thinking about fixing their own thing is, first of all, get the manual for your engine. Second of all, do exactly what it fucking says. It's that simple.
Gotcha.
But anyway, brother,
I gotcha.
Start with a combustion gas test and go from there. That's what I'm trying to get you to avoid is throwing parts at the fucking thing, hoping to fix it. Don't let anybody convince you to put an oil cooler or a water pump or any of that stupid shit. Do a combustion test and then go backwards from there.
Gotcha. All right. Well, I know it's late. You've been on here, man. I appreciate what you do. Not going to keep you on here and talk your ear off. So I'll be at Matt's here next week.
Cool.
You guys are there. I guess I'll come through there and talk more about it when I get down there. But
all right, brother.
Appreciate your time and what you do, man.
Good luck.
All right. Take care. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, Big Joe, you're calling in late and more callers calling in. Guys, we're not taking any more calls. Got 2 more to go here. No name. Hello, you're on the air. What can we do for you?
Hey, good night. I'm here. Got a little C12 because I see no space up on all that. Is it that he get engine?
C12.
C12.
So you can, and generalizing here, obviously there's exceptions, but you can kind of put jakes on anything, so to speak. The engine's certainly capable of it. The problem is it cost effective to do? And kind of what I mean by that is, do you have the valve train for it, right? Do your rocker arms have the tappets on them to operate Jake brakes? If the answer is yes, then you're just looking at buying a little bit of hardware in the Jake brakes and whatnot, and then you're going to have, and it's probably already wired for them. That would be another problem. So, there's not enough information there. Can you do it? Yes, 100%. But how much is it going to cost you? How big of a job is it going to be? Well, first of all, is it wired for it? Second of all, is the valve train already set up for it? Most of the time they are, right? Most of the time they are, but that doesn't mean that it is, right? So that's what you got to find out. Do you have the tappets for the slave valves? If not, you're gonna have to change out your whole valve train. So it's not just as easy as I buy some Jake brakes and put it on, but it can be. You might be in that position where you can just get some Jake brakes and throw them on. Get the appropriate hardware, which is just some different studs than you currently have, and then just go to town. A lot of times, you're gonna need to get different valve riser stuff as well, but all of that stuff is going to be readily available if you're determined to have Jake brakes. You just have to see, how far do I have to go? If it's valve riser, if it's wiring, if it's different rocker arms and Jake brakes and hardware, now you're into it. It's $15,000 just to have Jake brakes. Might not be worth it to you, right? Yeah.
Okay.
So
you have to get someone with experience to look on it then.
Yeah, you just got to see what you have. And then from there, you can see what it's going to cost you. It might not be cost effective. It might be more than the truck's fucking worth. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah.
And, you know, there's always the option as well. Depending on what area you live in, you could find a C12 at a junkyard and strip off everything off of it and do it like that. I mean, that's how I would do it, but, you know, it's what it is. But
they have the valves and they have the topics some all the bolts and all that.
yeah, you just
I don't see no one.
just because you don't see no wires doesn't mean they're not there. You need someone to look at it that knows what they're looking for.
All right. Thank you very much. I saw.
All right, brother. Good luck.
All right. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I saw that guy ask that. I saw that guy ask that question so many times in the comments section. He finally made it through. I wanted to answer him, but I knew there was like a long explanation, and I didn't want to, you know. Anyway, potentially last caller here, depending on how I feel. This Big Joe guy hung on no matter what, so we might go to him too. Hello, you're on the air. What can we do for you, Andre? Andre, did we make you wait too long?
Oh, hello.
Yeah, there you are. What can we do for you, brother?
Hey, what's going on, Hack? I got a question for you, just testing your knowledge. I'm pretty sure you answered this probably a couple times already, but I'm looking into buying a dump truck with an ISX. And, you know, up here in Connecticut, you know, I need my jakes, man. And a lot of these ISXs I've got behind, you know, when you do the deletes and whatnot, the jakes just aren't as strong. So I'm wondering what your thought is, especially when you do your 650 builds, on how do you bring your jake backs to even a percentage that I know you don't get it back fully. It's just like, what should I do if I do run into an ISX?
Well, for the most part, we try to leave the VGT turbos on. You know, that's the best way. That's the best way to keep your good jakes, to be honest with you. Hands down. We have camshafts as well. You know, like if you had one that was deleted and single turboed and all that, and you were trying to get your jakes back, we have a camshaft that we can sell you that will make a huge difference. But the best way is to leave the VGT turbo on there.
Okay. You know, up here, you know, everybody kind of run cats for, you know, their triaxles and whatnot, but, you know, it's just the thought of, you know, trying to get like a newer truck or like an old 09 or something like that, and they start to come with a lot more of these Cummins. And I'm not really a big Cummins guy, but, you know, I can appreciate some of them because I've run a couple of X15s, but every now and again I run across a deleted one and the jakes are just shit.
Yeah. Yeah, they are. You know, I've driven quite a few ISXs as well. That's all my brothers owned the shit out of them, and I pulled some heavy loads with ISXs, and you can't deny a good 605 high torque ISX would just fucking walk the dog. It is an amazing engine. I don't give a shit what anyone says. You know, VGT turbo, all of it, just, you know, the way they're built, they are badass engines. They jake like nobody's business. They pull like fucking crazy. You know, they have their play. They are a good engine. They really are. They just, you know, guys fuck them up pretty much. But
yeah.
I mean, to answer your question, man, you don't delete the VGT turbo. That's how you save your jakes. There's no advantage. The only advantage is if you have one go bad, it's cheaper to replace. That's literally the only advantage.
Yeah, for sure.
You know,
and you're not lying. I ran a couple of death trucks, and they do run strong. The X15s, they do run strong, and they jake well with the death. But, you know, just the older Cummins and shit like that, you know, you're trying to find my first truck and not really trying to, you know, get on the cat tax that, you know, how expensive the cats are.
Yeah.
You know, I was contemplating a couple of ISXs, and
they're no more expensive than any other engine. That's all myth.
Okay.
Here's the thing. You're getting into trucking, right? if you don't, if you can't afford a BGT turbo, and I'm talking to everyone, if you can't afford to replace your BGT turbo, then you're going to go out of business anyway because you're hauling shit freight. There's number one.
Yeah.
Number two, if you're repeatedly losing BGT turbos, you're not doing maintenance to the rest of your system, and you deserve to keep losing turbos. The answer isn't to delete it and put a shittier turbo on it so when it goes out, it's more affordable. It's just not. Haul better freight. Don't work for free, number one. And number two, care about your fucking truck. That's the real solution to the BGT problem. In my opinion.
Gotcha.
Anyway. All right, brother. Well, I
All right,
appreciate
boys.
your call.
Well, thank you, sir. I just need your opinion on that. You know, I appreciate what you do. And you have a great rest of your night, man.
You too. Have a good night, man. And that was our last caller, but I'm going to go ahead and take Big Joe. And I think I'm going to take the next guy, too, because I'm interested in what he wants to talk about. So, Big Joe, what can we do for you, brother? You hung on a long time. I just couldn't bear to let you go.
Yeah, man. I have a 2005 379 Pete that I just bought back in October. Had a Frankenstein motor in it. We found out about it a couple of months later. We had a lot of problems with it, so we did an in-frame on it. And when we did, we went back to just 16-1. You know, basically, that's what we did. We left the twin turbos on there. There's no IVAs on it at all. But the mechanic that did the work on it told me, he said, you really need to find out what the tune is on it, and I can't take it to a dealership, you know, because they're going to want to set it back up to a BXS because it's basically a 6NZ now with just twin turbos. So I didn't know if your shop offers, if I came out there, if you guys can do that, you know, write a tune for this motor or hook up to it and find out, you know, what it's really putting out and doing.
See, the thing is, man, is for all the guys that listen to this show and call and talk to me about tuning their deleted fucking Frankenstein, I don't do stuff like that. Think about what you're asking me on the air in front of everybody.
Okay.
Right? So the answer is obviously no. But you know, on a very down to earth note, I wouldn't fucking touch that thing with a 10-foot pole because it doesn't matter who tunes that thing for you. You find the best Canadian on planet Earth. That combination that you have, that combination you have is a disaster. You cannot have twin turbos on a 16-1 compression. You can't. Okay. You cannot. You are going to have head problems for eternity, and I don't want to be involved in your never-ending problem. You have to go the rest of the way and finish out what you started. Especially
the motor didn't even come with IVAs on it. It didn't even have it. It didn't even have that. It had no IVAs. It had nothing in it. You know, we found out all this when we pulled it apart. You know, so
yeah. I mean, we literally don't delete people's engines because we just can't afford the exposure for that. We work on deleted engines all the time. You can watch our videos and see deleted engines in our shop, but they come that way, right? We're just rebuilding them.
Okay. Right. Well, I wasn't asking you to delete anything. I was just asking. I didn't know if you know.
Tuning is deleting, brother. Tuning is deleting.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
It's always the tuners that go to jail. I mean, you know.
Well, that's the question. And another thing too is that since it doesn't have an APU on it, and I'm going through the winter and the summer, haven't got an APU on it yet. You know, you say you don't idle these trucks, but if I had to idle it through the summer and all that, what RPMs would you let it idle at, and how long would you let it idle for through the night until I get an APU put on this thing?
I mean, I've never owned an APU, man, and I idled the living fuck out of my trucks. We were in Alaska.
Yeah.
It's really not, in my opinion, it's not idle time that kills them. And I firmly believe that. Okay. I firmly believe that it's not idle time that kills them. It is operating temperature that kills them. And I always made goddamn sure, no matter what, that my trucks were never idling to death in the cold. Belly tarps, winter.
Right. I remember you saying something about that. Yeah.
I used to have it.
Yeah, because you got it was really cold up there.
I used to have a 7 kilowatt generator in the middle of our yard in North Dakota to keep every truck warm, with oil pan heaters, transmission heaters, coolant heaters, battery maintainers. As soon as they would park, they're plugged in. Everything, everything is a war to be at the operating temperature. That's what it's not the idling that kills them. I really believe that it is being below operating temperature that kills them all.
Okay. All right. Well, I plan on coming out there seeing you anyway. I've been trying to get out there to see where you guys are. I run through Texas quite a bit. But where is your new shop? You got a new shop now. Is it very far from where your old shop was at? Is it pretty close?
Yeah, we're just 23 minutes down the road.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, we'll come and see you. I like to see you anyway. So I appreciate your help. Thank you for everything we're doing.
All right, brother. Have a good night.
Thank you, sir.
Hey, we got this last caller here. I don't think it's an opinion, what I was saying about operating temperature, because the engineers of engines agree with my consensus I just put out, that operating temperature is what actually kills the engines. It's not the idle time. Trump administration stopped jail time. It's just a fine for deleting now. That's absolute horseshit. That's not true at all. And they did not get rid of any of the emissions for guys like us. All they did was halt the emissions that only apply to, as far as trucking is concerned. Listen up if you don't understand it, guys. The requirements for on-highway trucks to get a certain fuel mileage, which I can't remember, I think it's like 7 miles a gallon. That's the only thing that got affected for us. Everything else is still in full effect, and you still will get your ass carted off to fucking jail. 100%. You cannot delete your pre-cooler, your DPF. You can't get rid of your EGR. You can't do any of that shit. And it's not somehow just a fine now. That's absolute horseshit. They will still wad you up and spit you out in a heartbeat. The only requirement that got changed for the trucking industry was the requirement that trucks had to get really good fuel mileage. Now they can build engines that get 3 miles to the gallon again. Hooray! Such a bunch of shit. They don't give a fuck about us. All right. You're on the air. Last caller here. What can I do for you, man?
How you doing, man? I got 2 questions for you.
Mm-hmm.
So I got a 34.6B cat in a Trax dump truck, right?
Mm-hmm.
It has a bully dog 78 by 1.32.
Yep.
I'm aware of the 34.6V Jake's not that, strong. But with this turbocharger, what I've noticed is that up top, it's like a plane, but, bottom end sucks. So I was wondering if I switch over to waist gated style 78 by 1.32, if that's going to make a difference.
No, the problem probably you're talking. It takes a while to spool up, right? And I don't. Who makes the turbo? It's a Bully Dog.
Yeah, that's what I have here right now. Bully Dog.
Okay,
it's
so
a non-waist gate.
That is a quick spooling turbo, and that thing shouldn't be having any problem spooling up. The only reason it could possibly be having a problem spooling up is you're not putting enough fuel to it. Your turbo is too big. That B model, unless you're putting, we use that exact turbo configuration. I don't use I've used lots of Bully Dogs, but we have our own turbo, obviously. But that turbo should do just fine. The only way that it, you're not putting enough fuel. The engine's not turned up far enough. End of story. You need to get a 550 type turbo. What you need to do is you need to get a stock turbo. That's what you need to do. And that problem will go away.
So here's the thing, right? The stock turbo that I had on, the back housing was huge, like a 1.52.
Yep, that's your
It was way big.
that's your stock housing on those B models.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yep. It's the way they're made. It's the
So
way they're
put
made.
back stock. Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you. My last question is, I've seen you posted up your oil bypass setup with your oil that you sell,
Mhm.
right? Did you? I just seen a clip of it today. I was just wondering if the oil is already in production, like ready to sell and stuff like that.
Yeah, we already sold out half of our inventory in 2 days.
Okay. And
But
could I use that in my B model?
of course, you can use it in anything.
Okay.
Now, you have to understand our intent here, okay? Our intent, if you're going to switch to our system, it's to save you money in the long run, right? This isn't an oil that you're going to change. It's an oil that you're going to monitor, right? So it takes a little bit more, well, I guess not because you still have to change your oil. But it takes some effort on your part to monitor the oil. Every 40,000 miles, we're going to, you do whatever you want. It's your truck, it's your oil, you buy it, it's yours. But the idea is that you're going to take an oil sample every 40,000 miles when you change your filter on, your element on the bypass. And you can send them to us and we'll build a database for you, right? We'll keep track for you and kind of help you monitor what's going on with your engine and this and that. And potentially, especially starting out on a new engine, we would potentially expect to see the first, that oil you bought from us the first time make it to 1 million miles.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Okay. That's it, brother. Thanks very much, man. Always a pleasure.
All right,
10-4.
man. Have a good night.
You too.
Bye. Yeah, I was interested in, I told you I was going to take that last caller. I was interested in his question about the turbo there, but anyway, that's only illegal if they catch you. Is it, so this is a good question here, guys. Be more polite if you don't like talking on this live. Don't do it. You're not the end all be. What the hell's going on here? I don't know if that guy's talking to me or not. Anyway, can you engine swap from a Cummins with emissions to a Cat Detroit no emissions if you are in non-emission enforcing states? So that's a really good question. I can't give legal advice on here, of course. But you look at a company like Custom Truck. Well, Custom Truck is actively doing exactly what you're talking about there, and so are several other companies out there. And because there was the glider craze for a while, people think because the glider craze went away, that the legalities for doing that changed. They actually didn't, because what is regulated is the engine, not the truck. Okay. So once you pull that engine out of the truck, you have a chassis that has no regulation on it because all the regulation revolves around the engine. It is illegal to change the emissions on the engine. Has nothing to do with the truck. Okay. So if you are putting an emission compliant engine back in it for the year that engine was designed, you haven't done anything illegal. You don't need to re-VIN your truck, all that fucking nonsense that guys do. Because the way the rules are written is it is the engine that must stay emission compliant. So if you put a 6NZ in that is emission compliant in and of itself, then you have not done something illegal because the truck itself is not federally regulated. The engine is. So people are always saying in my comments, well, you swap engines. I'm like, we don't do deletes here. You swap engines. Okay. I haven't changed any federally regulated items. The truck's not federally regulated. The fucking engine is. And if I keep the engine emission compliant for the year that it was built, I've stayed inside the law. So do you need to travel to Nevada where they do your VIN changes and all this other crap? Nah. Not according to the way the law is written. I'm just saying the way the law is written, right? Now, what they do to you could be something totally different, right? 10-4, I heard a shop does that somewhere in the Midwest. Yeah, there's a shop in Nevada. They're famous because it's like the big secret. Everybody goes there and you give them your title and they take ownership of your truck for the day and they go retitle it so they can because in Nevada, when you retitle a truck, blah, 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 there's all these little hoops they jump through, but it's all nonsense because the way the law is written is the engine's regulated, not the truck. It's in Nebraska. Who cares where it's at? You get what I'm saying. Anyway, guys. All right. We went through all the callers. We had a good show. No internet lag. Holy shit. What a miracle. Still on Starlink, by the way. But here, we were able to get the Starlink set up and it's clear spot. And we turned the dish and we did all the stuff. And it finally told us we're pointing right where it wanted to be pointed, and we did the internet test, and it showed it was awesome, and so I think we got it. I think we got it dialed in. No internet problems. Holy crap! What a show! Way better. Anyway, guys, if you can make it out to Matt's, we'd love to see you. I probably want to do must have the boat right house right. I'm probably going to do another show, make sure that the internet stays good. And then once we do, I'll start hunting down some guests. We'll get this to be a little bit more lively. You're calling Bull about 50,000 miles. 50,000 miles on what? Don't know what you're calling Bull on. Yeah, no drunk callers. I had my Modelo here ready. I, took a couple drinks of it. And my plan was to start drinking once the drunk caller started calling, but we didn't get any. So, to the guy commenting in TikTok over there that he's having an aneurysm over me saying 40,000 miles on the filter change. What do you want me to say? I know you are, but what am I? Come on, dude. Calm down. By the way, you know what the worst that will happen? The worst that will happen if the bypass filtration system starts to take issue before 40,000 miles? Nothing. Nothing will happen. The oil will just continue to go through the normal oil filter. Oh, you're saying the oil won't last that long? Buddy, yes, it will. 100%. Can I explain the oil bypass strategy? Yeah, not a problem. So an oil bypass filtration system takes oil separate from everything else going on in the engine. You're going to tap into the oil rifle. So it's pulling its own oil supply. So the rest of the engine runs totally independent. Everything's normal. And it feeds oil at a slow rate into a bypass system. Our bypass system is a 10 micron to a 3 micron to a 1 micron. That effectively eliminates everything out of the oil. Everything, including moisture. It pulls all the moisture out of the oil, which eliminates acidity problems, making the oil new again every day, multiple times a day while you're driving the truck. That effectively allows your oil to keep all of the properties that it had when it was brand new. The only thing that you start to lose over time is the quality of the additive package. The additive package is a non-issue because every time you change the bypass filter, you have to add a gallon of oil. Every time you change the regular filter, and we're recommending you do that at 15,000, you're going to have to add a little makeup oil, right? So every 40 or so thousand miles, you're adding around 2 gallons of oil. That is more than enough to replenish the additive package over time. Will the oil go to 1 million miles? Yes, Yes. Is it capable of going further? Absolutely. Absolutely capable of going much further. What is the ratio of expected longevity of components versus conventional oil? Somewhere between 2 and 5 times. Potentially, you could have the same components in your engine. If you're religious about your schedule, you could put 5 million miles on your components potentially, compared to engines that get 1 million. Do I actually believe what's coming out of my mouth? Absolutely. Is the oil that we're selling the only oil in the only oil on planet Earth that you can do that with? No. You can pick just about any tier 4 oil on the market and get similar results. We have some special things in our oil that make it better than your average tier 4 oil. That would be the tungsten disulfide. In independent tests, tungsten disulfide versus oil without tungsten disulfide shows a 58% higher lubricity. It's a big fucking deal. It's a big fucking deal. Top 3 oils, in my opinion. Like, what are the top 3 tier 4 oils? Ours, AMSOIL, and that's pretty much it. I mean, I'm just having a brain fart on any other tier 4 oils. There's not very many out there, man. There's not a lot of them are tier 3 that get advertised as tier 4. Close seconds, your Mobile ones. They're not as good, but they're good. I run Mobile 1 in all my trucks. And your Royal Purple. Schaefer's, guys. Schaefer's is a tier 3 synthetic. Okay, so T6, Schaefer's. You know, Schaefer's wants a lot of money for their equivalent to T6. You know, Schaefer's isn't a 1,000,000-mile oil. Now, I know there's, Spectre Extreme. I don't know what that is. I know there's other tier 4 oils out there, guys. I'm not saying there's not. You know, you just got to add Pro Lube to all of them, and don't anybody take that serious. I'm kidding. I am convinced Pro Lube ruins engines. I am convinced Pro Lube ruins engines. At least heavy duty on highway engines. We've seen enough evidence for that. So, what do I think about dumping a gallon of Lucas in? Lucas, I hate Lucas. I have a love-hate relationship with Lucas, guys. Because Lucas oil does a really good job of what it's designed to do. And it's really a problem masker, and it does a good job of doing exactly that. It has synthetic polymers in it, which makes it do a very good job of lubricating everything really well. Really well. And it also dramatically slows down your oil consumption because it's a 90 weight oil, right? Send an oil, do 2 gallons of Lucas and go send off an oil sample, and you're going to see red lines all over the place for viscosity because you've thickened your oil so much, right? I'm not saying it's the worst thing, but the problem is most of the time, Lucas is getting used to max oil consumption problems, and it's not doing anything for combustion gas going into the crankcase, degrading the quality of the oil, because Lucas isn't a really good oil. It's a heavyweight oil with synthetic polymers in it. It's not like some badass fucking oil, right? It's not like a tier 4 synthetic oil that doesn't have, suspension problems, doesn't break down, doesn't lose viscosity. It has none of those properties. So it's just a fucking, it's just a problem masker, And when we had when we were developing our oil, my criteria was it has to outperform AMSOIL. End of story. And if there's, AMSOIL was the first people we talked to about doing a deal with. The reason I didn't want to do a deal with AMSOIL in the end is because they didn't want to make me a product that competed with theirs. So the best they would make me, and I would have been the only other person besides Banks, Gale Banks, that they make an oil for. They only make an oil for Gale Banks, by the way. They make their own oil, and they make a special oil for Gale Banks. But the oil they make for Gale Banks is a semi-synthetic. And that's what they offered to make me and brand with my name and their name. And it was going to be this dual thing. I talked to AMSOIL for months and months, but I didn't want a semi-synthetic. I wanted a full, true tier 4 full synthetic. So, I'm not going to bash on AMSOIL. I'm not. They have this close to making a deal with them. I'm not a big fan of their bypass system. Their bypass system is basically just another truck filter. So I wasn't a big fan of their bypass system, big fan of their oil, but they wanted to make me a semi-synthetic, and they guaranteed a 50% semi-synthetic. So that was cool, but it's not a million-mile motor oil, right? So, and that's what I wanted. Sticking to your guns for T4 with a gallon of Lucas. I mean, you can do what you want, man. So if I buy your oil, could it help me out until I get a new head? No, man, it's not a problem solver. So there's no miracle products to fix your mechanically broken engine. Using the bypass system and just changing the filter in the bypass system and the stock filters, by the time you reach 1 million miles, you probably will not have the original oil. Correct? I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there's a mathematical equation there, but you're always going to essentially have the original oil, right? Will it be exactly the original oil when you get to 1 million miles? I don't know, but you're still consistently running the original oil. It's kind of like if you live in the northern hemisphere, it's guaranteed that you have breathed air that Socrates breathed, X how many thousand years ago, right? Does that mean that the air hasn't been exchanged? No, but it's still original air that Socrates breathed, right? So same kind of concept there. Yeah, we still do engine swaps. And guys, we've had people come into our shop, right, with close to 1 million miles on their oil. It's not like this is a new concept. There are all kinds of guys out there that run their engine oil out to 1 million miles. It's not a new concept. My oldest brother was doing it years ago. My brother was doing it years ago with AMSOIL. He was on their program years ago and running their oil, and never changing it. I watched that all in real time years ago. I mentioned my oil is the best out there, but I'm not running it in my own truck. No, buddy, I'm not going to run 1540 in my Toyota outside. Sorry. I hope that makes sense. What do I use in my gas driver? I just use Mobil 1. I change it every somewhere between 7 and 10. And my wife's car, all my cars, I just use Mobil 1 in all of them. And I just change it every 7 to 10,000, depending on how busy I am. You could be breathing brief. Oh. How do I feel about Blevins Diesel being one of the best in the nation? I don't know, man. Never talked to the guy. Haven't really watched much of his content either. I know that my media guy, who's my nephew, reached out to him to see if he wanted to come on the show because so many people requested him to come on the show, and he declined. And he declined because he said he didn't want the extra exposure, I believe is what he said. So you think me, Charles, France, and Blevins Diesel are top tier? Now, I know Charlie personally. He was my neighbor for a long time. We had neighboring shops for a long time. And I have made a video naming who I believe some of the top mechanics in the country are. The only mistake I feel like I made when I made that video, I talked about Tim and Charlie, yeah, and and a couple of those other guys, is and it's just the nature of who I am. I don't ever want to toot our own horn, but my brother-in-law, who's worked for me for 24 years at this point, he is most certainly one of the top mechanics in this country, no doubt about it. And I know the guys that work for me, if I put it to a vote with them, they would all say him, right? So he's just not famous. So there's lots of good mechanics out there, right? Lots of good mechanics. My brother-in-law is probably could give just about any mechanic in the country a run for their money for damn sure. So anyway, guys, I probably better get going home. I just thought I'd enjoy the comments for a little bit. Timothy Tazanko and Detweiler top shelf. Detweiler is probably a top shelf mechanic. He probably is. You have to look at Detweiler. I don't agree with Detweiler in any way, shape, or form. Yeah, Lightning. Lightning is in there for sure. Lightning is my brother-in-law. His nickname's Lightning. Most people don't know his real name. Yeah, all kinds of people. See, people know him. People know him. When we were in North Dakota, there was a hell of a lot of people that would come to our shop in North Dakota, and they had no interest in talking to me at all. They just wanted Lightning to look at their truck. He's very famous, but he is grassroots famous. It's hard to get him to hold still long enough for me to get him on a camera. So, and if it has to do with a truck, he's got it handled. He could rebuild your 18 speed and 46 rear end. But what I was saying about Detweiler is you have to look at what people say about him that do business with him. And the people that do business with him only say the good things about him. There's your sign. Detweiler is a great mechanic and probably a pretty decent dude. That would be my guess. It's impossible to be exposed, the way that he is, and not have people tear you apart. You look at like PDI's social media page. Every other comment, somebody's saying you guys are pieces of shit, right? Well, that's not happening to Detweiler. So we have to assume he's probably a pretty good guy. I mean, he's kind of a dumbass, but whatever. I don't do business with him. People who love getting fucked do business with him, and there's a lot of people like that, right? I really like him, Excalibur, but I feel like that's his customer base. It's just what I feel like, Doesn't make him not a good mechanic. Doesn't make him not great and one of the best. So, is what it is. Anyway, guys. All right. I probably better wrap it up. I've got 3 violations tonight on TikTok. I don't know how that always happens to me, but I know when I talk about an engine being derated, but I say it the other way every time I get a violation. So dumb. Like learn. The AI needs to get a little better. I know that. But where's the other live? We're on Facebook and YouTube. That's where this is all centric out of. The TikTok is actually a sideline and not the main that gets viewed, to be honest with you. Anyway, guys, I probably better get going. Y'all have a good night. Oh, I love TikTok. I mean, you got to remember 2 years ago, we were all saying, fuck Facebook, right? Because they had so much censorship on Facebook, you couldn't even say anything. And then all of a sudden they freed up all the censorship on Facebook. But I haven't forgotten how horrible Facebook was, 2 years ago. and TikTok's always been kind of consistent. They're TikTok's weird because you can make a video saying anything you want, but on lives and in the comment section, you got to watch your ass or you'll lose your account. But I can make a video being as crude and rude and terrible as I want. But if I got in the comment section and say something, woo, heaven forbid, or say something they don't like on the lives, TikTok's weird. So, can I micro polish parts for your tractor? Well, we don't micro polish. Micro polish is actually a different process. But the answer to your question is, yeah, man, we can do all that stuff for you. But what we're doing is rim finishing. It's a non-directional, so micro polishing is actually a different process. That's a directional process and totally different, and not something you want to do to engine parts. Actually, you have an issue with a C15 in-frame kit you bought from me. You'll inbox me. Inboxing me won't help you, man. I don't have time to read those because thousands of people inbox me, literally thousands. I even hired a guy for a while to try and keep up with them. You have to call the call center, man, and they'll take care of you. We have a whole system for that. People that's their only job is to make sure you get taken care of. If it gets bad enough, then I take over and I take care of you. So, but we make sure we take care of everybody one way or another. Yeah. Anyway, all right, guys, you did call them. Well, they're supposed to be taking care of people. Call and ask to talk to one of the owners if you're not getting service that you're supposed to get, for sure. All of the owners, my sons and I are all involved. We're all there. So, if some salesperson's being lazy because they want to get to the next guy and try and make some money, demand to talk to an owner. We'll make sure you get taken care of. Anyway, guys, I'll see you next weekend. Will I see you next weekend? I'm not sure. I'd have to look at the dates. I think I will. I think I'll see you guys next Wednesday, and then we'll take off and go to the show. But anyway, if you guys can make it to Matt's, we're going to be there. I'd love to meet everybody. So try to make it there. Love you guys a long time. Wonderful live. I appreciate everybody in the comments. I had a good time. I love the comment section always. You guys have a good night. I'll see you next time.